Well, hello everyone and welcome back to the layout. Today is March 31st, 2018. My name is Jason, this is the Red Rock Northern, and it's been quite a while since I've provided an update as far as what's going on in the railroad room. To be quite honest, not a lot during the summer, although I have picked up over Christmas break in the last month or two, gotten some progress done, and for the most part, all of the track is laid, bench work obviously done, and I'm pretty much hard at work at the scenery at this point, which is for me the most challenging part. So again, apologies for lack of updates on YouTube, but I'd like to take you around the layout room and kind of show you what things I have completed since my last video update was probably last summer. But first, before I get to that, just got back last night from Tucson, Arizona, so I was up there or down there for a week. Visited the Grand Canyon and then visited my mom for about a week, brought the family down, just a week-long vacation. Visited a couple of layouts while I was down there, and one of the layouts I visited, once again, was Chuck Baker's River Valley Railroad. So I just wanted to mention his YouTube channel. I'll go ahead and tag it in this video, in the link in the description and so forth, and want to show my appreciation to Chuck for letting me come over there. Actually, I went over there twice. First time was a work session. A little bit he was schooling me on some scenery techniques with foam and so forth, giving me some ideas. And then the second time I went over there on Thursday, I brought my son Joshua. It was his birthday, and we brought a locomotive over there and we did some operations. So you can go visit Chuck's channel, check out his River Valley Railroad. I also just posted this morning 2 videos from when we were operating on Chuck's layout on Thursday. So I also want to thank Chuck. I'm going to go ahead and grab the camera now. Chuck was gracious enough not only to let us use his railroad, but he was kind enough to give me this ballast spreader. He knew we still had to ballast the entire layout here, and he had some excess items, tools on his layout, so he went ahead and gave me this, and so this is going to help me get some ballasting done, which I'm gonna lay down ballast after I get at least the base layer of ground foam on. So this will come in very handy. This is from a company called Pro's Model Railroad Accessories, and it's an HO00 scale ballast spreader. So the idea is you fill up this container with ballast, pull it along the track, and what it does is it spreads a pretty even layer of ballast between the ties. Now there's a little bit of an art to it, takes a little practice, got to find the right amount of ballast to put in, and then even more importantly, the right amount of speed to drag this along to get the best fill and look of ballast within the track. And it doesn't mean that you don't, this, once you lay the ballast down with this, that you go ahead and apply the wet water and the glue. It's still going to take probably some brush work and so forth, but this takes out a lot of the legwork by starting off with hitting the ground running with a nice evenly applied layer of ballast. So anyways, look forward to using this tool. I've never had one of these before. Another thing I want to thank Chuck for is actually his wife Sharon is a painter, and before we left they gifted me a number of paintings. You can see them along the wall here, and I just love Tucson and Arizona in the desert, and I love swirl cactus, so they gave me these paintings here to take home with me. And you can see this one actually looks really cool. This would make an awesome backdrop image or painting if I had another stretch of these. That would blend in really nice for a great desert scene there. Obviously, we've got some green grass in there. There's not a lot of green grass in Tucson, but nonetheless, this looks beautiful, and she does a fantastic job. So I'm gonna get these framed and hang them up around the house. I know my wife loves them. She wants at least 2 of them to go upstairs. I'll probably put the rest in the basement and the train room down here. So the truck, I don't think he's ever seen my layout, so I'm gonna, for his benefit, I'm gonna give him a little bit of a tour of the layout. Others might have seen my layout room in previous videos, but Also use this opportunity to, once I get a quick lap around the layout, then we'll go through kind of what's new. So this is an 11 by 10 bedroom. Door comes in here, down the hall. Basement we finished a couple years ago. You come in the train room, come in what is currently a duck under, crawl under there, and you're in the middle of the train room. It's an around the room layout. I'll just take a quick 360. That's the town, the city of Red Rock, that yard there in the engine facility. We start on the lower level, get out on the main line, back behind this bridge. We're now on the main line, come around, about a 2.5–3% grade, coming up the hill, come over a series of water, which is not in yet. We hit our first industry, which is Champion Mine. It's coal. Come along. Now we're at 4 inches above the layout. Next industry is this is actually Walter's Centennial Mills, so it's a flour plant. This takes grain loads in, and out would be, so that's the grain hopper there, that covered hopper, and then loads that could come out would be either flour as a product, or we could take and that would go on that center flow hopper there, or the air slide hopper there that's in the front. That would take flour, or potentially box cars if we decide we're going to ship out finished loaves of bread, that kind of product. I haven't really decided yet. I've got tons of box cars and I've got several air slide hoppers, so probably do a mix of each. May not be prototypical, but so that we can make use of all the cars that I have, which includes covered hoppers, air slide hoppers, and a ton of box cars. You know, we can kind of mix things up a little bit there. So we come along this passing siding here. There's I think there's 3 runarounds on the layout. That's one of them. That's the first one actually. Come along here. We're still at 4 inches of elevation. Then we hit our second industry. It's Medusa Cement. And you can see I've done some scenery up here. Got the gravel driveway in there. Got some green grass, various ground foam in there around the perimeter. This is just a background building I picked up at a Woodbury train show a couple months ago. Really nicely done. Haven't necessarily decided that that's going to go there permanently, but it does look nice there. Probably doesn't make a lot of sense sitting there, but it looks good. So I just set it there for now. And then we come across this bridge here, George's Gorge. One of the bridges is in. There's another bridge that needs to go right here that I gotta cut out, because behind here is a gorge. Comes in, snakes around the back, and then comes back out here. Okay, a little bit of a tight fit, but nonetheless, that's a river. So plate girder bridge, that's like the 3rd bridge I've tried there that this one actually works. At first I had a 3-truss or worn truss bridge. That one wasn't working out because of the curve right after. So right after the bridge, we got a grade that comes down, again about 2.5–2%, maybe close to 3. We come down, we come into Granite Creek. So this is an operational railroad that starts at Red Rock. There's some interchange over there I haven't talked about yet. Cars are classified, and we bring loads out, empties and so forth, and bring them into terminates at Granite Creek, and then interchange points further west. So we got an industry here, Chuck. This is I know actually you've got this industry on your layout. I built this one last summer and painted it. This is the Prairie Co-op for grain. I love covered hoppers. Got tons of covered hoppers, and so it was essential that I had a grain industry on my layout. Now I had the ADM large grain silo previously on my previous layout, but it was way too big for this spot, so I sold that on eBay and built this smaller grain silo. Again, got some scenery done here. The grain silos that I've seen, that I drive home by from work every night, they're full of this yellow, I don't know what this is, pea gravel. That gravel that kind of has that yellowish tint. And it's just, area is just full of that gravel. Eventually we're going to get some geese in there, because the geese hundreds of geese usually flock to eat the free grain. This is just temporary buildings that I stuck here. At one point this was going to be another industry with a spur coming off a curved turnout, but it turned out to be too tight, so I ripped out the turnout. And now this is just going to kind of be an open area. Right now I've got a couple of lumber mills in there. I don't know what I'm going to put in there. So anyways, we continue progressing into Granite Creek. Got our second runaround here. Actually 2 runarounds. One on the inside here. This is the main line. In the back is a siding that actually feeds an oil loading facility in the back where those tank cars are. But coming into Granite Creek here, we've got passenger station. We've got a warehouse. I've got a number of different buildings actually that can go here. I haven't quite decided yet. So I've kind of staged a box car there to show what that kind of looks like. And then the downtown Granite Creek, again, these are just kind of temporary buildings I've placed in there. Don't know if these will be the final ones, but my idea was that I want to have the only track that's not laid yet is this spur that comes off the runaround here. And the idea is that it's going to come along and serve. I want to have a nice railroad crossing here with signals. And in order to have a railroad crossing with signals, see it terminates there, we can't go through the engine facility. Granite Creek fictitiously stops here. There's going to be kind of a divider. But in order to have a spur here, we got to have a reason for it. So I thought, well, maybe we've got, this, for instance, this variety printing here that takes a boxcar load. Perhaps that'll get us the need for a grade crossing and signals. At one point, I wanted to have stuff in another industry here, but it looks like it's getting kind of busy when I do that. For instance, I'll grab this plastics pellets facility. Originally, the plastic pellet facility was going to go there. Okay. One, it looks kind of crowded, and 2, this tall structure causes a reach problem. I think if we're reaching across the layout to clean track, pick up a derailed car, we're going to raise all kinds of hell with this really tall structure. So I think I've decided to pull out the plastic pellet facility. Actually, I've got 2 of these facilities. The other one where I decided to move it was over here. I failed to mention we've got 2 industries in Red Rock before we even pull out of town. I'm trying the placement of the plastic pellet facility over here, okay, off the main line, and then we've also got a passenger depot in the back. Originally I had the passenger depot here and the pellet industry in the back, but since I like covered hoppers more than I care for passenger service, I decided to deprioritize the passenger service and give it less trackage, and kind of put it more in the background. So, in addition to the switching of industries, which I have about, I don't know, anywhere between 11 and 13, maybe 14 on the layout, depending on how many I finally end up with. We'll also have passenger service that'll daily passenger run, which will take passengers from this depot in Red Rock, circle the layout, head west into Granite Creek, and then the idea is that terminates here at this passenger station. If that's going to be the final one, but that's where the track plan has the passenger station right here. I also had the idea of, like I said, I've been trying a lot of different buildings here. Pull this building out. We've got this building from my previous layout, which I like. This is a gas and steam pipe, kind of a metal industry, takes metal loads in, wire rope, and so forth, and also produces scrap as an export, in addition to finely crafted loads made out of metal. That could go there. I like that building. I liked it on my old layout. I also picked up this building at a train show about 2 months ago. Now this is, probably seen this one before. This is kind of a combination passenger depot and warehouse, okay? So this one, going to take box cars for the warehouse piece, and then it also could facilitate the passenger car, okay? And then that eliminates the need for this passenger station there. That's a little big. You can see in the back, doesn't look real nice. I'm kind of leaning against having this giant structure in there. You know, I could move it further this way, kind of make it fit a little better, but I don't know that that's going to fit in there. So for now I'm sticking that industry in there, and then stick with the track plan for now and have the passenger depot there. Okay. Like I said, I've got a lot of buildings and boxes I've been kind of interchanging out to find out what the best fit's going to be. All right, so further on in Granite Creek, passenger side, the passing siding runs out, and this is really the end of the railroad. Okay, this is a point-to-point railroad. Now we can run laps. Okay, we do go under this hidden staging area, and we actually come back out magically into Red Rock again. So we can do, you know, run circles, run laps. It's a twice around. But the idea here is this tunnel. It's going to be a tunnel that we go in that simulates interchange, or that's a point of interchange for railroads further to the west. Similarly, over here in Red Rock, this tunnel would simulate railroads that go further to the east, so we can do interchange. And by the way, we've got hidden staging, Chuck, in the back on each side where that Santa Fe 5003 SD40-2 is sitting. He would pull out of hidden staging, and he would come out. You wouldn't be able to see this. This is all hidden. He comes out into Granite Creek, okay? So he's pulling in loads for interchange, okay? He stops there, puts the cars on the siding, maybe picks some cars up that were switched by the Red Rock crew, and then he takes them back. Similarly, this locomotive we've got that's sitting in Granite Creek hidden staging pulls out. He's hidden, and then all of a sudden he magically appears out of a tunnel in Red Rock with a load of cars, and that's interchange. And so he's simulating interchange with railroads further to the east. So he drops off cars, maybe on this ready track, maybe on the main, leaves them on the main, and then he backs up, maybe does a runaround, and then he pulls them back out, and he disappears into the tunnel off back to his home railroad to the east. So that gives me the interchange, which again gives me more of you know, what I want, which is operations for this railroad, because I'm using, the idea is to use car cards and waybills. So that hidden staging goes all the way back to the wall. So we've got about probably 9 feet of hidden staging here, and over on this side we've probably got about 7 feet of hidden staging. Alright, so that's kind of how the layout operates, a summary of what it looks like now for kind of what I've been working on since this past summer or this fall. A number of things have been done. I'll just kind of hit them in random order as I see them. I tore out the extra yard track that wasn't here to make room for this service road that I put in. So I put this service road in. It's made out of, I formed it out of drywall spackle. Okay, a couple coats of drywall spackle, sanded it, painted it. Originally painted it gray because that's the kind of paint that I had. I thought, well, it's going to be concrete, but then the more I got to thinking, that's not concrete, makes for an awfully expensive service road, which this railroad probably does not have, or nor does it have a need for. The other thing is I don't have any expansion joints, which I think a concrete road would need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to repaint this road black, and it's going to be pavement like the service roads I typically see around here going to engine service facilities. So got a grade crossing here that I built. You got to see it's all made out of spackle. Trains run across this just great. Spent a few days working on this. Anyways, it's a service road. We'll get some, I don't know if I'm going to put line striping on it or not, but we'll get a lot of weeds and growth and so forth in there. And then the service road will come in here, and then this is actually going to be gravel. I'm going to make it gravel just like I did over there for the Prairie Co-op. That'll be gravel for this engine facility. Let's see. You can see I've got some ground foam on most of the upper layer, at least some preliminary ground foam. Got it back by Centennial Mills. Got the ground foam all along the top. I got the ground foam and the gravel in for Medusa cement. Again, I've temporarily placed the plastic pellet transfer facility here to see if I like it. I think this is going to be the final resting spot. There's not a lot of room on the layout where a facility like this can go for the volume of cars that I want. So this gives me a nice long track here for this industry. I've only got 3 cars on there, but I can put probably 2 or 3 more before I foul the siding for the passenger service. Okay. So I'm kind of thinking that's going to get tucked back there, and I also don't really have a reach problem. I can get to, if I need to reach for a cement hopper to re-rail it or get to a locomotive, this isn't nearly as tough to get around, and I probably won't be, there's not much track back here. I probably won't be going back there very much. Got this bridge put in, so I cut out the foam, put the bridge in. Again, I originally had a Warren Truss bridge here that wasn't working out real well, so I got this plate girder bridge. Came in a black color, although shiny, so I resprayed it. I painted it flat black. Let's see. Again, temporary buildings. Guy gave me those for free at the swap meet 2 months ago. This Prairie Co-op was in there the last time I had a video, although I did drill the holes for I believe this is a scale here, and the sampling arm, so I can lay this down flat. So that's pretty much where that's going to go. Now that I pull it out, it doesn't want to go back in. There we go. On that building. Let's see. Again, I've got ground foam on the upper area around here, back by the coal mine. Now for this coal mine, I got the coal for it. I need to scatter some coal around here. I've already got a lot laying on the ground, but I want to put some piles of coal over there. Get a couple. I got tractors and front end loaders. We'll get them in over there, and then I want to get a mountain or some scenery here that covers where this track terminates, because in reality this is not just a coal loader for a capacity of 2 total cars. In reality, this spur goes quite a ways with a longer string of coal cars, but obviously with the dimensions of my room, I can't fit that. So what I can do though is hide the appearance of the track actually terminating and give the appearance that, hey, this is a mountain here, the track continues to go on behind that mountain, or it's a valley or something like that. So that's going to come out. The idea is that comes out from here and kind of comes down to the ground to kind of really to hide this right there. Let's see, I got the spur in for the oil loading facility. I also got the kit. Finally got my oil drums. I ordered a Walters kit. That's the trackside oil dealer kit. I ordered that kit. It comes with drums and buildings and all kinds of stuff. And all I bought it for was for these drums, because I needed really narrow diameter drums to fit in this narrow space. Put the drums together, painted them, and I got them temporarily placed in there. So now we've got a place for the crude oil to go in and out of for these cars. I also got the track laid for that spur. Last time I made a video, this track was not permanently in there. And then, like I said, the only track I have really left to lay on the layout is this spur siding coming off here to feed the town. But since I haven't exactly decided what I want to do in this area, for instance, I think this is gone. You know, I didn't know if I was going to have an industry here or not, and if I was, where exactly was it going to be, where is it going to fit, so I hadn't committed to laying the track yet. But the more I think about it, the more I think this is just going to come straight off, and you know, if anything, I think I might stick the team track industry here. This would be a good spot for it, because I ran out of room to put a team track, and it was my intent to have a team track on this layout. Team track makes a really good universal industry to service pretty much any type of cars or rolling stock that I have. Alright, got some fascia up. Actually ripped out the original fascia that I put in here and put some new fascia up. Got some temporarily mounted waybill boxes, you can see, for car card operations around the layout. I still have to cut the holes to put my panels back in. These were mounted in the previous fascia, but I tore out that fascia and put up new fascia. So I gotta get those panels back up. There's one down there. There's one on every side of the room. There's one down there, and there's one underneath there. And there's one on this side as well. Another thing that I got done is I got all my switches for my turnouts mounted and temporarily labeled, so you can see. And I also recessed them, so that's different in this layout compared to what I did in my first layout in my other home. My first layout, I had these switches mounted flush, or mounted within the fascia, so the switches were sticking out. I'm using, you can see what kind of switches I'm using here. I'm using these guys. Okay, I believe these are double pole, double throw switches. Here's one that was already wired that I cut out. Okay, and so originally these were kind of all the silver part of that switch. The toggle was sticking out of the fascia. So this time what I did, I've seen a lot of people do this, and I really like the look. They recess the switches inside the fascia. So see, there's a little hole in there. It's recessed in there. That way we can't bump it. We can't wreck the switch by leaning on it, because these switches aren't real sturdy. And I think it gives a really nice look. And for a smaller room like this, I think that's an important design decision to recess these switches. So I really like how this turned out. And for now, I just got temporary labels in here because I was losing my mind as far as keeping points aligned for the main line and siding and so forth. So I got them temporarily labeled there. I think eventually I'll get, like I did with my last layout, I'll draw, using paint and masking tape, I'll draw, the track configuration, so it shows, what the purpose of each of these switches is for. All right. Other than that, I feel like I'm missing some things here, but we're at the 28-minute mark, so I think I'm going to close this out. I guess one other thing I'm looking at, I got some humidity sensors, humidity and temperature sensors. One's hanging up there. One's hanging up over here. So this winter, I had some track that I had to repair due to huge humidity swings in the winter. In the Midwest here, we lose humidity, and all the wood in the benchwork dries out, and it causes kinks in the track, and it destroyed about 3 or 4 of my turnouts. I had to replace them along the layout. So and I don't particularly have fun doing that, so I want to try to avoid it. So I got these humidity sensors in there, and that allows me to try to control the humidity a little better, or at least I have an idea of what the current humidity is and what kind of the trends and the swings are. So now spring is coming around, and we're going to start getting high humidity. Okay, you can actually see on camera it just jumped from 16% to 21% humidity. Now these aren't the most accurate humidity sensors in the world, but they're generally close enough, and they're gonna be able to measure and gauge the big swings that I'm looking at. So I have no idea how high the humidity is going to get here in the summer, but since we have central air, forced air conditioning here in the house, I'll try to make sure that we get adequate dehumidification in the train room, and I'll get the dehumidifier back in here if need be. All right, so other than that, that's where the layout's at. And really, again, I'm in the scenery stage right now. I got a lot of scenery to do, a lot of things to cover up. You know, all this is supposed to be hidden, so you know I gotta get 1/8 inch hardboard, and you know get all these areas covered up like they're supposed to be. Now, this is the end of a tunnel here. Somehow, you know, I've kind of got some tight spaces here. Somehow, you know, that's a hidden area, and pardon the camera movement here, but this is also hidden staging here. So somehow I've got to get a tunnel portal in there, all right? And it's going to be really tight. Now, fortunately, I can come out this way, like that. What I'm worried about is getting the one leg of the tunnel portal in this space here. There's not a lot of space. I think I'm gonna end up having to get one of those cast tunnel portals, and I'm gonna have to kind of shave the edges on it, and you know, it's just a trade-off. It's a smaller room, and things may not look exactly prototypical, but I have to make it work. I can maybe get a little bit more room out of this thing, but I don't want to squeeze it too much, or else we'll have a clearance issue with trains that are on the hidden staging there. So, anyways, sorry for the really poor camera movement. I don't know if it's driving people nuts, but I don't have a tripod for my iPhone, so maybe I'll see if I can find a way to stabilize this camera and not give everyone motion sickness. So, so we'll continue on laying ground foam and scenery and start the ballasting, and I'll probably start that in the yard here pretty soon. Get this road painted, get maybe some grass down between the tracks or some weeds, and then we'll get right to the ballasting, and we'll start ballasting out of the yard and onto the main line. And I don't mind ballasting too much. I mean, it's somewhat of a tedious process, but on my last layout I had a lot of track, and I got through that without a problem. Like anything, it just kind of takes some time. So again, thanks for stopping by, thanks for watching progress on my layout, and thanks again to Chuck for being such a gracious host when I visited Tucson with my son. Let's see if I can get myself back in the camera here. So thank you, Chuck, and great job on your layout. I really like all the changes that you and Mark have done, and it was a lot of fun, so I look forward to visiting again. Good night.